SEC matchup. It's a top 20 matchup, and the first time it's a ranked matchup since 1951. Kentucky going to Tennessee. You're not getting as many points for the underdog here, but you're still getting double digits.
Still getting double digits, but boy, this Tennessee team has really come along. And so, look, at times Kentucky has as well. I think when you look at their season as a whole, there's definitely some concerns. In fact, one of their losses came when Will Levis wasn't even starting quarterback. He'll be back for this one. He should be licking his chops for Kentucky. He may have one of his best wide receivers coming back at Davion Robinson. But this is a defense for Tennessee that's given up a lot of yards. However, that being said, they're getting a lot of pressure. And Kentucky has had a hard time protecting Will Levis. The only flip side to this is since Chris Rodriguez is back, he's been the bell cow back for Kentucky. So you better believe that you're going to try to test that stingy defense of UT up front that's been good against stopping the run. This was a tough one for me, Danny. I don't know how you felt about this. It's a big number again for what kind of is a rivalry game, at least in my opinion. I'm willing to lay the points, though. I'll lay the 12.5. Tennessee's not necessarily coming off a bye like Kentucky is, but you could make the case based on how they played UT Martin last week. So I think they're going to be rearing ready to go. Tough place to go win a ball game. I'm laying the points here with Tennessee.
I'm with you again. A couple favorites early on making me a little bit nervous. We'll have to find some dogs in here somewhere. But I think this Tennessee team, they're not a team that's going to overlook anybody on their schedule. This is new territory for them to be inside the top 5, to be talked about on the national stage week in and week out. And I thought they handled their business really impressively last week against UT Martin. That was the trap game. That was, a hangover game where they could come out lethargic. They were up 52-7 at halftime. And I know it's an FCS opponent, but they could have come out sluggish. They did not. I think this is a team that's fine-tuned. They're looking at accomplishing something special, having a historical season. Already their start matches what they did back in 1998. It's that type of year, and I think it'll be too overwhelming. There's a portion of me that's nervous, though, about Kentucky's defense, what they did to Mississippi State and Will Rogers, keeping them in check. I think Hendon Hooker could get beat up a little bit in this game, but there's too much firepower. And speaking of getting guys back, I think as the season goes along and you get guys like Cedric Tillman to come back, you get the defense fully healthy, or off of potential, disciplinary issues with a guy like Jalen McCullough, this Tennessee team is only going to continue to get better. And I think playing in Knoxville is going to help them. And I'm not bought into the Will Levis, is this top 5 pick just yet. This will be an opportunity for him against the defense, which is gettable. So I think he does get some points in the second half, which is why I lean towards the over as well. But ultimately, this Tennessee offense has too much firepower, so I'll say they cover too.
I think if this one wasn't at home, maybe you'd be a little bit concerned too, considering what's on the back end of this game. But Tennessee has to be zeroed in. I mean, Danny mentioned it. Obviously, Kentucky's been able to go on the road and find some ways of upsetting some folks. This is one, though, where I think Tennessee takes care of business.
Ahead of the Tennessee trip to Athens, Georgia.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.